You're listening to episode 331 of the Membership Guys podcast. Today, I'm sharing a 12-step plan for promoting your membership using social media. Let's do this.
You're listening to the Membership Guys podcast, bringing you proven, practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now, here's your host, Mike Morrison.
Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 331 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison. Thanks so much for joining me today. On today's episode, we're talking all about promoting your membership using social media. Now, we've had episodes before where we dug a little deeper into specific strategies and tactics for using social media as a vehicle for your membership. We've dug into specific channels like Pinterest and so on. But today we're pulling out a little bit and we're looking at that bigger picture plan. So I'm going to be sharing 12 steps that you should work through in order to ensure that you get the most bang for your buck when it comes to promoting your membership site using social media. So the first thing that I'd encourage you to do is to conduct a social media audit. So if you've not really had much of a formulated plan, much of a strategy for how you use social media to promote your membership, then it all really starts with taking stock of where you currently are with your social media activity, with your profiles, with levels of engagement, and so on. So you want to dive into your stats on any individual social media platforms that you're involved in. Most social media platforms will provide you with statistics these days. So check in on your stats for those platforms. Get up to grips with the stats on your website and how the two connect. So how much of your website traffic is coming from social media and so on. You want to get a clear understanding of the data, of the numbers, so you know where you're currently at in terms of performance when it comes to social media. What's working? What type of posts are getting the highest and the lowest engagement? What needs to be improved? So what's jumping out at you? What do you need to stop doing? And what new things should you start doing or consider doing more of? Really take stock, really audit your social media activities so you know where you're starting from. Step 2, you then want to set some clear goals and objectives. So what do you actually want to achieve using social media as a marketing channel for your membership? Be realistic within these goals. If currently you're getting a trickle of traffic through to your website and you've never had a single sale come from any of your social media channels, then it's unrealistic to say, okay, in 3 months' time, I want social media to be the biggest source of sales for my membership. I want it to deliver 200, 300, 1,000 new members a month. Be realistic. We're big fans of using SMART goals. And in fact, we covered the whole process of goal setting for your membership business back in episode 287. If you head to themembershipguys.com/287, then we dive more into goal setting. So we have a process that you can follow there, which will help you set clear, realistic, achievable goals. And any social media strategy, any plan of action you put in place, we always advocate looking ahead no further than 6 to 12 months. Anywhere beyond then, you're getting into real guesswork territory. You want to review your progress, update that strategy on a fairly regular basis to ensure that you have that clear direction to meet those goals. So you need to get those goals and objectives for what you actually want to achieve nailed down. Step 3, you want to really take some time and take action to develop your understanding and your knowledge of your audience. What do they actually want? Who are your current followers? And do they represent the target audience for your membership? You might have a huge following on Twitter, but none of them might be suitable or might be relevant or interested in what you're going to be starting a membership about. So think about how much of your current audience on social, via email, via website traffic, how big a proportion of them are currently buying from you or are in your sales funnel. Again, it's a good way of seeing what the relevancy of the people you're reaching is to the things you're trying to sell. How many in your audience are actually interacting with you online, but they're yet to buy anything from you? And are there elements of your target audience who aren't interacting with you at all? If so, you want to find out why. So again, this is kind of almost stock taking. It's almost doing an audit of your audience and how aligned they are to what you're trying to promote, what you're trying to sell within your membership, and dig into what they're interested in. What are they asking about? What are they talking about on their social media channels? What questions do they have? You can even put something up on Twitter, on Facebook. Very, very simple. Let me know your number one problem you're struggling with right now when it comes to learning guitar, when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to losing weight. That simple question can trigger a whole bunch of gold nuggets in terms of ideas for what you should be talking about on social media, what kind of things people need to know, what they're struggling with, what their obstacles are. If you can address that stuff and you're hitting on the biggest pain points, the biggest problem areas for your audience, then they're going to engage with you more. But that all really starts with knowing your audience, what they're interested in, and of course, ensuring that the people you're talking to are the right people for your membership. Step 4, get clear on your messaging. Your followers need to understand you and your membership, what you're offering, what your personal values are, what your personality is, what your knowledge, experience, and expertise are, who you are, why you're worth paying attention to, and why you're their kind of person. Make sure that you're consistent, both aesthetically and in terms of what you and your membership actually represent. Don't constantly flip-flop. Don't be flaky. Don't be all lighthearted and fun and wacky in one post and then super serious and corporate in another. Consider the bigger picture of your personal brand or your business brand if you already have an existing business with other products and services. How does your activity on social media align with that? How does your membership fit into that? So really get clear on your messaging, on your value proposition, on how you're communicating the worthiness and the value that your membership will provide to your audience. Step 5, pick the right social media channels to focus on. You don't need to be everywhere. Hang out where your target audience is for your membership. I talk about finding pockets of passionate people. You want to find where your audience already are, and you want to make sure that you're focusing your effort on the platform or platforms where they are already at, where you get the highest level of engagement from the largest proportion of your audience. So for us, that's Facebook. Facebook is where we have a free Facebook group that's closing in on nearly 20,000 members, all talking about memberships daily. So naturally, that's the channel that we put the most time and effort into because that's where the biggest catchment of our audience are. That's where we get the most engagement. And when it comes to social media, that's where we get the most sales from. So make sure that you're not trying to be everywhere. You're not falling into that trap of trying to juggle a dozen different social media presences. Pick one. Just start with one. Focus your effort there. Develop that stronghold. And then further down the line, you can expand into other channels if the time is right. Step 6, create a content calendar for the posts that you're going to put out on social media. So make a list of things that you regularly need to promote when it comes to your membership. So new content that's released, monthly member Q&As, any new courses, any regular workshops and stuff like that that you do. Plan your social media posts for those daily, weekly, and monthly events that are taking place in your membership. Plan them out at least a month ahead, if possible, to avoid the overwhelm that can come from kind of thinking, oh, man, I forgot to promote this member Q&A that we're doing today. I must quickly write a post. If you can plan them out and actually write them and schedule them a month or so in advance, it ensures that no matter what else is going on within your membership, what else is going on within your business, within your life, you're still talking about what's happening in your membership on social media without it becoming overwhelming. Create categories for your social media content and plan how often to post about them. So, for example, you might have a category of member testimonials, and you might decide that once every 2 weeks, you're going to put out a post across your channels where you share a member testimonial. You might have another category for your lead magnets, where your social media posts are actually talking about this amazing freebie that people can get if they visit your website. They go to the website, they opt in for the freebie, they get on your email list, and then they're in your sales funnel. You might be putting out free content. So you could be blogging or podcasting, which of course you want to talk about on social media. So again, that can be another category, and that can be every Tuesday, we're going to put out posts on social media about this week's blog post, and so on and so on. So create those categories and decide on a posting schedule for them and be consistent. You want to make sure that you're active at least once a day. That gives you that solid foundation to build on and to expand your content calendar over time. Step 7, make sure that you engage with your followers. Don't just publish content and leave it. Aim to have two-way conversations. What do your followers need help with? Ask them. This can inform your membership content and future marketing, but at the very least, it can spark discussions on your social media channels. Mention members, mention followers in your posts, in your stories, wherever possible. Try and tag people whenever the opportunity presents itself, again, to create that engagement and to create that opening for discussion and conversation to take place. And share user-generated content. Encourage people in your membership who are on a Q&A to take a little photograph of their screen, to tweet it out, #member Q&A, and then retweet it or tag them, or you take a picture of their picture and share it on your channels and so on. Again, social media isn't just a one-way street. You want to find ways of bringing your community, bringing your wider audience into the mix and engaging on a different level. Step 8, take steps to build that audience. So don't just rest on your laurels. Don't just look at things and say, okay, great, we've got this fantastic Facebook group. There's lots of people in there. They're not all members yet, so I'll just focus on trying to get them to become members. You need to continuously be priming the pump, bringing new people into your audience, both organically, so through things like content marketing and through things like showing up and engaging on social media, or the paid route, where you actually utilize paid advertising to promote your Facebook group, to direct people to a YouTube channel, to get a little more visibility for your Twitter profile. Again, paid advertising doesn't just need to be about directing people to your sales page, into your sales funnel. You can utilize it to build your wider audience too. But make sure that you're not going for just big numbers at any cost. Quality trumps quantity every single day of the week. So again, building that audience, making sure you're not taking it for granted, making sure you're not resting on your laurels thinking I've got a fantastic following and I don't need to actually put in any effort to build and grow that any larger. You should always be making an effort to build that audience. And we've got a great episode of the podcast on how to build that audience for your membership business. And if you head over to the show notes for today's episode, so that's at themembershipguys.com/331, you'll find a link to that episode and any others that we've mentioned today as well. If you're on your podcast app, it's episode 72. So there's a lot of scrolling to do in order to get to that one. So make sure you're continuously building that audience. Step 9, once you've built momentum, once you've got that kind of consistent foundation in place for ensuring that you're putting content out on a regular basis, you want to be reviewing and refining the messaging you're putting out there and ensuring that you're not just being too salesy. Now, I'm not suggesting you go in the other direction and be petrified of the notion of trying to sell something, but you want to make sure that you're not just bombarding people with advert after advert after advert, that your social media feed isn't just one post about your membership after another, after another, after another. You need to find a variety of different ways to showcase, to share, to highlight your membership. So don't just look to get people to your sales page with every post that you make. Obviously, you want to mix it up with some stuff that's non-salesy too. Some general tips, some testimonials. Again, things like testimonials, you're not directly selling, but you're still selling, right? Sharing member wins. You're not directly selling, but you're still selling because you're showcasing the results that you can get. And instead of just continuously just trying to sell the big box, the membership as a whole, pick out individual little components to focus on, to write a post about. If there's a course that you know is within your content library, it might be one of 30 or 40 different courses that you have, but maybe this course is a one that's particularly unique, particularly different. Maybe it's one that's especially popular. Then instead of just having a generic post about your membership, create a post that is just about that course, in which you talk about the outcomes someone will have just from that course, the success stories, maybe share a testimonial or a quote or two from someone who's been through that course. So you've got some variety, you've got some specificity, and as a result, you're more likely that that more specific approach, those more specific posts, will better resonate with people than generic ones. And take people behind the scenes, particularly when it comes to stories. So if you're using Instagram, Facebook, and the like, they all now have a stories feature in which you can share pictures, you can share short clips and videos from your day. That's a great feature to take people behind the scenes of your membership, to film a little 10-second clip as you're working on the new content for a new course that's coming up, or a quick video of you saying, hey, we're just about to go live for a new member Q&A inside the membership site. If you're a member, rush on over to the membership right now. If you're not a member, you can head over. There's still time to sign up before we go live, and that means you can jump right in and start picking our brains. Those kind of things where you're taking people behind the scenes, where it's not quite as polished. It's a real look in real time into what's going on in your life as a membership site owner. That can really, really work wonders. And we talk a bit more about why taking people behind the scenes is so effective for driving membership sales in episode 314. So that's just a few weeks back. You can scroll back or find it at themembershipguys.com/314. Going behind the scenes is a perfect use of social media. And again, you're selling without being too salesy. Another way of doing that is by using something that I like to call member-first messaging. So often when we're writing social media posts, particularly ones where we're trying to be promotional, we write with the assumption that the audience are not already members. Nothing wrong with that. However, I'd encourage you to try flipping the script on that a little and try writing some posts on the assumption that the people reading them are members. So if you put a post out talking about your membership, talking about an upcoming event or whatever, and you assume that people aren't members, then you're probably right. Most people seeing that won't be members. If you've got 1,000 people who see that post, maybe 950 of them will not be members. So you're tailoring the message to the majority. 50 of them will be members, and they read that and okay, they're seeing something saying, hey, become a member. And they're thinking, okay, well, I'm already a member, but this is a good reminder. Flip it on its head. Write for the 50. Write for the members. Say, hey, Academy members, heads up. We're just about to go live in 24 hours with a brand new workshop where you're going to learn this, and this. Head over to this link right now to RSVP to come on the workshop and blah, 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 blah. So you're writing with the assumption that the person reading is already a member, because if someone's a fan of yours, if someone loves your work, then of course they're a member, right? Obviously they're a member, because why wouldn't they be? What member-first messaging does is, again, enables you to sell without being salesy, because you're not saying, hey, here's a great reason to join the membership. We're just about to do this workshop. Please come and be a member. You're actually almost using insider language. So you're writing this post as a reminder to members, and so the non-member reading it is excluded. They're on the outside, and they're looking in. They're seeing, oh, wow, here's this thing that I'm not invited to. Here's this thing I'm not currently part of. And they get a little bit of that FOMO, a little bit of that fear of missing out. You're not trying to convince them to come and join. They just happen to be seeing this amazing thing that's going down, and they're assuming, okay, other people who are reading this, they're members, they're going to see this workshop, they're going to get this great stuff in the membership. I'm not going to get this. I'm missing out. And that can be compelling enough to drive people to take a step to sign up. So this is a really simple switch in thinking. It's not going to be something you can do with every piece of content that you write. It's not something that is suddenly going to take you from no sales from social media to thousands of sales from social media. But it's just a little tweak to your messaging. It's just a little tweak to how you think about the way in which you use social media, particularly when you're talking about the stuff that's happening day to day in your membership. When you're talking about the live Q&As that are coming up this week, the new course that's being released, the new workshop you're doing, the brand new resource or discount or perk that you've just added. Write the posts in which you talk about those things with your members in mind first. Anyone else is on the outside, they're left out, and you're reminding them that they're not getting the best version of what you're putting out there. But you're letting them know at the end of those posts, oh, by the way, if you're not a member, you can head over right now to membershipacademy.com and you'll be able to get this as well. So instead of your members being an afterthought, you're making your non-members feel a little bit like an afterthought, and that can generate the FOMO that can drive sales without you being salesy. So utilize member-first messaging as a way of selling without being salesy. Another way of doing that, and we've talked about a few episodes ago, is using your membership as a framing device for your content. So we're talking about your free content here, your blogs, your podcasts, and so on. Normally, if you're writing an article, you're sharing some tips, whatever, we just dive right in. We've got a nifty little intro that sets things up, and then we get into the meat of it. A real simple way of being able to name drop your membership to raise awareness of your membership and to sell without being salesy is using your membership as a framing device for that content. So if you're just about to talk about something, you can say, this is a question that comes up all of the time inside our membership. One of our members asked a question about this the other day. Here was my advice. Without doubt, the number one thing that our members struggle with is this. Here's how you solve it. So you're using your membership as the context. You use it as a framing device for your content. And that enables you to kind of sell by stealth, because you're not saying, just to let you know, before we start this content, we've got a membership. It's membershipacademy.com. And within that membership, we have a community. People ask questions. Now, one of the questions that comes up, you're not doing a big sales pitch. You're just mentioning it almost as a throwaway thing, but it's the setup. It gives the context. Not only does that mean you get to drop the name of your membership without having to try and force it, it also means if you're writing a blog post, then you can link the text of your membership name. It makes people aware of that membership if they weren't previously aware of it, but it also lets them know this is the sort of problem we're solving every day. These are the sort of discussions. These are the sort of members that we have. And again, that's a great way of selling without being too salesy. So that's tip number 9. Refine your messaging. Use some of these tips we've just given you, some of these techniques I've just given you to ensure that you're not being too salesy. You're almost selling by stealth. Now, tip number 10 is something that might happen as a result of you trying to be salesy in any way, shape, or form, and that might be negative responses, negative engagement. So step 10 within your social media plan is to ensure that you are dealing with any negativity in the appropriate way. So really, this is about consistently monitoring your mentions, your comments after you made these posts. Don't just post on social media and then leave it. Keep an eye on this stuff. Keep an eye on what people are saying. And if someone responds negatively, make sure you reply quickly and concisely. And if necessary, take things offline to resolve it. Offer to get on a little call with them. Offer to follow up by email. Now, obviously, if it's just a random stranger trolling you and whatever, you can just delete and block. But what I'm talking about here is if it's someone within your audience, someone who's engaged with you, if it's a member even, then you obviously want to make sure that you're dealing with any negativity in an appropriate way. So any plan for promoting your membership on social media needs to incorporate a plan of action for how you will deal with negativity and a consistent approach to actually keeping an eye on your mentions, on your comments, on the engagement that you're getting. Step 11 in your plan is to ensure that you are consistently offering value. So it's not just about promoting your membership. Make sure you're listening to your audience. Make sure you're following the right hashtags for your industry so that you're keeping up on latest trends and then can offer your own expert perspective. Share your knowledge in a way that positions you as an expert and makes joining your membership a no-brainer. Again, this isn't something where you have to follow up every little post that you make with a call to action to join your membership. But if people are already considering it, if people are aware of your membership, they just don't really know enough about you, or they don't know enough about your experience, your expertise, whether you're their kind of leader or teacher or whatever, then demonstrating this, showcasing your expertise, having an opinion and putting that opinion forward on your social media channels in a way that shows people you know what you're talking about, you are an expert, that can definitely make joining your membership a no-brainer. Avoid posting clickbait. Avoid posting stuff where you're so overtly, desperately seeking engagement. you might get hundreds of thousands of comments if you say to people, we put up a post, what do you prefer, Marvel or DC? But is it relevant? Is that engagement actually relevant engagement for you? Especially if that topic isn't a one that has anything to do with your brand. It's not aligned with the way in which you show up and the way in which you portray yourself elsewhere on social media. Basically, no gimmicks, no latest hot tricks to get everyone to reply to your stuff. Just be yourself, share who you are, share your knowledge, and you'll build relationships organically with people who will eventually become members. And then step 12 in your plan is ensure that you have solid analytics in place. So this brings things full circle around to what we were talking about at the beginning in terms of knowing your numbers, in terms of regularly reviewing the performance of your social media channels and assessing whether you're moving forward towards meeting your goals. Is social media moving the needle for your membership? Is one channel proving more effective than another? Have you started to see results slipping in one area despite you not actually changing what you've been doing? Again, you need to be on top of this and conducting a monthly or a quarterly analysis using either a social media management tool or the individual platform analytics tools alongside your website analytics. So again, this all circles back around, as we said, to knowing your numbers and ensuring that you're continuously abreast of how your social media efforts are actually paying off and that you're making adjustments, you're making changes where needed to ensure that your social media activity is always working for you when it comes to building your audience, to driving traffic, driving leads, and ultimately generating membership sales. So those are your 12 steps, the 12-step plan for promoting your membership on social media. First, conduct a social media audit so you know what you're working with. Second, set clear goals and objectives for what you want to achieve using social media. Third, take steps to really develop your knowledge and understanding of your audience. That will help you to do the fourth thing, which is getting clear and consistent on your messaging. Number 5, make sure you pick the right channel. Don't try and be everywhere. Choose one core place to focus on and go all in. 6, create a consistent content calendar that you can write posts for, you can schedule posts for in advance so it's not a continuous last-minute scramble. 7, make sure you're setting aside time when you're actually publishing your posts to follow up and engage with your followers. Don't just turn up on a social media channel when it's time for you to post something. Turn up and join in conversations or start conversations of your own. 8, make sure that you're taking steps to continuously build your audience. Don't just take for granted that you've got a great following and it'll stay that way. You need to continuously prime the pump. 9, once you've built momentum, once you've got the basics, the foundation in place, refine that messaging, refine the type of posts that you're making to make sure you're not being too salesy, to make sure you have a variety in how you promote your membership and to try out some of the little techniques that we talked about in terms of member-first messaging and using your membership as a framing device. 10, enact a plan to deal with any negativity in the appropriate way. This should be on your radar at all times. 11, ensure that you're consistently offering value. You're not just putting out salesy posts or promotional posts or self-serving posts all of the time. Take steps, be proactive in just delivering pure value to your audience, to showing up, to demonstrating your expertise, to demonstrating why someone should want to get closer to you, to be a closer part of your business ecosystem and to join your membership. And 12, ensure you know your numbers, ensure that you have solid analytics in place and that you're regularly reviewing your progress towards your goals and making adjustments where necessary. So, hopefully today's episode has helped you to get a better idea of how you should approach utilizing social media as a promotional avenue for your membership. And even if you're already happy with how you're using social media as a marketing tool, then I do hope that some of the specific little tips and techniques that I've shared today will help you to move the needle and get even better results from your social media activity when it comes to driving member sales. That is it from me. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Hope you found it useful. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website's already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, step-by-step membership roadmap, exclusive member-only discount perks and tools, as well as our supportive, active community that will help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.